Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be taking a look at a Dany feature on the PRS channel, the PRS Guitars channel. You know, the guitars that Dany uses all the time ever since the end of the pandemic. We've pretty much always seen her playing a PRS. And for good reason. They are excellent guitars. They're a lot of fun to play. So a number of people mentioned this one to me. Thank you so much for the heads up. It's about 15 minutes long, and I look forward to checking this out. Of course, this will count as band promotion because Dany is going on to the PRS YouTube channel, and that's their audience, not the Warnings audience. So it's a great way to help expand their own following. So looking forward to it. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, just know I'm always looking at non-music content that features bands that are touring today. If that interests you, please subscribe so you won't miss anything. Okay. Let's go ahead and check this out.
We've toured with so many of our dream bands. Def Leppard, The Killers, Foo Fighters, Muse, Evanescence. We've done Aftershock, Matt Cool, Vakin, the Pepsi commercials, NFL halftime shows, and all of that I've done with a PRS in my hand. And I'm so happy that my journey with PRS has come to this point with my own signature.
That's right. It's her own signature guitar. I noticed there are 200 of them that were made. They retail for about $6,000. I saw one for $5,800. That's not a bad price point for a signature guitar. So there are 200. They are available. You can get one right now if you want to. This is also the same guitar that she announced as her new guitar at Pier 17, if all of you recall that.
You guys like my new guitar?
And I just love the inlays on the fretboard, particularly that huge sun called the Solicito. The others are actually pretty interesting as well. I can't really see what they are. Maybe we'll learn about that here.
I feel like music has been around my entire life. I started playing the piano when I was around 6, and I loved it. It was a classical music focused time in my life. And then rock and roll came in and just took everything away. I grew up in a very musical household along with my sisters. We got playing the rock band. The rock band was my intro to guitar playing. Even though I was playing in a plastic guitars with buttons, I was in love with it, in love with what I was seeing on the screen.
Yeah, so we're getting the whole origin story, as I kind of figured would happen. I'm going right back to the beginning. Classical piano, rock band, and I'm sure other things leading up to it. So, yes, this is something designed to introduce people to Dany and to The Warning, the regular PRS audience.
And I immediately told my dad, like, please, I want to play guitar, I want to play guitar, I want to play guitar. And he's like, are you sure? I was like, yes. Started playing guitar when I was around 8, and I did not get it right away. But I loved it. I practiced every day. And then we got into Muse. We would watch Muse concerts all the time. So we were like, they're a trio too. Like, we could totally make this work if we put our minds to it. Like, they're doing it, and we took that as our main inspiration. I took on the challenge to be the lead singer as well. I practiced so hard to be a performer and still be, you know, a good guitar player. And seeing Matt Bellamy just run around the stage playing guitar and these impressive solos without missing a beat, that was like, I want to do that.
Amazing. Yes, and so they did. Here they are doing an early, that's probably Hysteria right there. We didn't actually hear, but going from the initial interest in music with the classical up to rock band with the push-button guitars and drums. Drums are more like real drums on rock band. That's about the only instrument where that applies. Finding rock and roll primarily through Muse, another three-piece, you know, opening up the door of possibilities to them. Part of what I really love about this band is just the inspirational story about how they got started and how early they got started, particularly Ollie. But just I think here she's 9 years old. You know, just the fact that it was so organic and came from basically the right motivations. You know, they wanted to do it. And that is a big reason why their music is so strong today.
We started our whole journey through YouTube with covers of songs that we liked and that we found challenging. Some of the videos that we uploaded in the early years were a lot of Muse covers because, again, we were very inspired. We wanted to play challenging songs, so we took on a lot of Guns N' Roses and Metallica. Our Enter Sandman cover was the one that really, really blew up. My dad's phone was exploding with all the comments, all the views, all the opportunities. Like, people wanted to interview us, and we're like, what is happening?
I mean, it's really cool because I know a lot of television shows were calling and everybody wanted you. And
just so you know, we have looked at every single one of these things that Dany has mentioned. We have reactions for them over on the Glenn and Adrian channel.
And I'm very happy that you chose to be here. So thank you.
And being just three sisters, really young three sisters from Mexico, it was insane. It was just, we were at a point in our lives where we were just worried about getting our homework done in time. I have to constantly remind myself that my younger sister was 9 years old. Now that we're here, we realize how crazy that was and how big it was. And that opened up the door of opportunity where we have these many eyes on us. Now we can maybe make our own music and see if they like it. Because we were a cover band, and I don't think we really like that concept.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. I know that at some point they said, you know, we really have to write our own music, and that was the turning point. I'm sure she'll get to that, but I also wanted to point out that Paul Reed Smith amp on top of that crate there. I didn't even know Paul Reed Smith made their own amps. If anybody has one, why don't you tell us about it? Give us a review.
We wanted to take the cover band out of it, so we're like, let's make a lot of music. And we actually got gigs, so we were very excited for that to happen. Our first tour in the United States was a very long tour, and we had no idea how to tour. None of us were in the music industry. We just kind of went through it. We were just 8 people in a band, and we did 25 shows in 30 days. I don't know how we scheduled that.
Just to be clear, she's talking about the spring tour of the United States in 2022. And that was an epic tour. Small clubs, incredible music. I mean, they just absolutely destroyed everywhere they went. But you could tell by the middle of the tour, they were starting to feel it. You know, there were little telltale signs here and there. But it was tricky. I mean, you had to be paying close attention to really see it. She's talking about they weren't really in the music business before that, which is essentially true. They got signed in 2020, for those who don't know, after a number of negotiations. And then they recorded their third album, Error. And at this point, Dany was not yet playing a PRS guitar. That seems to have happened somewhere around that time period. And then when they reemerged after COVID, that's when they played that 2022 tour of the United States. There's also an incredible show before that from Saltillo and other shows in Mexico in February of that year. I've actually put together an edit of the entire Saltillo show, and it is just something to behold. They are so happy to be back out on the road. So it's interesting that she's saying, well, we weren't really part of the music business, because that was true up until COVID. Up until that point, they'd been an entirely independent band. So they were just making it happen on their own, just for context.
And why we did that? But that was our very first tour. I went through a lot of different guitarists through my life, and I was also growing up. Like, my hands weren't really the size they were gonna be. I was still getting taller, you know, my back was growing and I was carrying heavy guitars. A guitar had to be an extension of me and my body, you know. We were gonna work together to create music. And when I recorded our third album as a band, with David Bendit, he was our producer. We were in the recording studio and he was just looking at me. I was like, you know what would really fit with you? A PRS guitar. I was like, really? I've never tried one. So when we finished the album and I got back home, he scheduled a call. And we were talking about getting me a guitar and me trying it out, and we loved the idea. So when I finally got my first PRS guitar, a Fire Red custom 2408. I had it in my hands. I was in my basement where it all started. It was an immediate connection, like a good puzzle piece just fitting together, you know? Actually, I've never stopped playing that. It was my companion throughout most tours. I still take it everywhere. Finding PRS guitars for me was a very pivotal point in who I was going to become as a guitar player, especially a touring guitar player, because I had never done that before. Being the only guitar player on stage as well in a trio, you know, you want to be a wall of guitars and just kind of sound really, really big, but at the same time, you really want to cut through. PRS made it so easy for that to happen.
So she said 2408. I want to point out that most guitars have 22 frets. The 2408's 24 frets. That's what the 24 is for. And I believe that ever since then, Dany has stuck with 24 fret guitars. Why is this important? Well, 24 frets means you have 2 entire octaves that you can play on the fretboard without having to bend any strings or anything like that. And that can be a huge boon to lead guitar players. It just gives them that little extra room. You know how in Spinal Tap, Nigel said, oh, well, our amps go to 11. You know, it gives you that little extra push. If you're not quite there yet at 10, you just go to 11. That's what happens with those last 2 frets on 2408s. So it appears to me that this one is also 24 frets, but we shall see.
Happened, and I was just sold. I was like, yep, I'm gonna be a PRS girl. If I were to talk about milestones for us in the band, one of the first pinch me moments was where we played the biggest stadium in Mexico City, opening for the Foo Fighters. We were like, what even is our life? That's insane.
Okay, that was March 15, 2022. They did meet Taylor Hawkins. This was actually 10 days before his passing. But they got a huge high five from David Grohl, and the whole situation was just a complete success. And can you only imagine? I mean, Dany's talking about, we were just entering the music business for real. I mean, like not having been in it. Well, this is just before their tour of the United States. This is about a month before that spring tour happened.
We were in front of 60,000 people because it was already full. I was nervous as hell. And it was cold. My hand would not move. I was just like, please don't fail me now.
That's right. And they ended up using this footage to do the Money official music video with the studio audio. Notice it's also raining, so they did all right.
It was so cool. And I feel like that was the first taste of what we knew it could feel like, being on a stage with that many people. When we got to tour with Muse, it was a dream come true because it was the first time we crossed the ocean. They took us to Europe for the first time. We had the best time on that tour.
To be clear, because I saw there was a poster there that said Europe Tour 2024, it actually happened in 2023, May of 2023, when they went over and opened for Muse, starting in the UK, and then had their very first European tour. Now, they did open for Muse in January of that year, but in Mexico. Muse had come over to tour Mexico, and so they played a few dates there as well. And after that, they got the invite. So clearly, they left an impression.
Getting to know the world through a job that you love, which is playing music with your family, it feels like super surreal to say it like that. It's just like, I'm super grateful.
Yes.
When I first met you,
Almost all of us in this room were there at the 40th anniversary concert.
that night was so special because just being on stage with everyone and being considered to be part of that show was an honor. And I got to sing and play guitar with Orianthe, which is insane. Because I remember a long time ago, I think it was like 2019 or 18, that I went to an AMP show and Ori was passing by. I just kind of got to like see a glimpse of her. I was like, oh my God, she's there. And then cut to being on stage with her, performing a song, and her giving me the guitar she played that night just on stage. To me, I was over the moon.
Yeah, that was crazy. And it's a beautiful guitar. Look at the fret inlays on that thing. Are those roses or what is that? But Beautiful thing. So, just in case you missed it, she saw Orianthe at a NAMM show. And we actually have seen some interviews and other clips of the Warning at NAMM shows in the 2010s. So maybe it was one of those. If anybody happens to know exactly which show it was, which NAMM event it was, by all means, let us know.
One big moment where I got to use a lot of my PRS guitars was the biggest concert that we've given so far, which is Auditorio Nacional. It's a very important stage in our country, and we did 3 sold-out nights. So we took the opportunity also to film it. When we were planning that show, I was like, okay, I want to use the guitar from Orianthe. And I was just like, I have to highlight this too. People are going to go crazy when they see that guitar on stage. And I remember playing one of my favorite songs on that. It's called Consume. And I could really just go all out on that. This year, getting to tour with Youngblood was insane. Like, the whole organization of the tour is incredible. His crowd is incredible. I'm so thankful for every experience. And every single one of them leading on to, like, having a signature guitar, man. What does that even mean? That's amazing. And I can't believe I was able to, fully put myself into a guitar. Once I opened the case to see the guitar for the very first time, I was blown away. It looked so majestic.
Look at that sun in the middle. And those other fret inlays, are those mother of pearl? I don't know. I bet we're going to hear about them.
And then I was like, I can play it tonight. I can play it for the rest of the tour. I can see what this is going to be like. I walked onto that stage with this guitar, and I could immediately feel everyone who knew me and knew the band and my guitar journey, that they were like, what is going on with that guitar? I saw the comments on the post of that show immediately, and they were just like, oh my God, new guitar, what is happening? Like, it's so beautiful. I was like, yep, and you don't even know what's coming. And also, we had a very important show in New York. We played Pier 17, and it was such a great show for us. It's such a beautiful venue, and playing our own show and just showing everyone my guitar was such a special moment. I don't know why. I had never thought about it. What would I do in a guitar? The whole thing started with me really questioning myself and like, okay, who am I and what do I want to put in a guitar? And a specific word came to mind, which is solecito. That's Spanish for a little sun. And it's what our fan base has been calling me. We have a song that's called Automatic Sun. They started chanting it like right before we would sing the song. At first, I thought they were referencing the song. And then I saw in the comments, like, no, that's what we call you. I love that so much. It's so endearing to me. And that's why we included this, the 12th fret of the inlay. It's like between a sun and a star. It's very beautiful. So I picked these colors because yellow is my favorite color. I wanted yellow to be a part of it, but I didn't necessarily want a fully yellow guitar. And going with the thing about the sun, I didn't really feel full daytime represented me. So I was like, maybe just sunset. So that's the inspiration behind the colors. And I really wanted it to go from purple.
Right, over to yellow. I think that it accomplishes that very nicely. It's a beautiful guitar. I also want to give props to whoever lit the room for this scene, because those colors are perfect to be featuring this guitar. Well done.
All the way to yellow. I feel like the PRS team were like, let's see how we can make that happen. And lo and behold, they did a beautiful job. Just look at this. I love it. And sound-wise, I told them, like, I'm already in love with how all my PRSs work. We should keep that. I know the sound. I know what to expect. So it's basically a custom 24, but with an ebony fretboard. I really wanted to, have that kind of richer sound from the fretboard, and also it helped the inlay just pop out a lot more. And as you can see, it has the DMO pickups, the volume knob, the tone knob, and overall I just love how this sounds, and I hope that you love it too. And also I have my signature
we
right
saw
here
that.
and also on the back. So every guitar
Oh, look at that.
will have that signed by me specifically. I spent a night signing all of those for you guys. I know there's people who name guitars and people who don't. I've never been a really strong namer of guitars, but for this guitar, of course, it had to have a name. It was part of, completing the process of having the signature guitar. And it's called Astryx. I came upon that name with the help of the PRS team, and it felt so right, It reminded me of just like a very strong female character from a fantasy book. This is my weapon. I go full force on that stage. I'm just excited to see what me and Astryx are gonna do together. The process of making a guitar is so impressive. The first time I came and visited the factory, I got so much insight of everything that goes through to making PRS guitars, and all the people who do it with such love and care for every part of the process. Actually being here today and seeing my guitar being made with that much love and care is really, really special. I can't believe I'm just holding the finished product right now. Everyone is so nice and so supportive, and everyone just wants to see everyone succeed. They're just a very big and loving team, and I'm just so glad to be part of the PRS family, and I hope I can still be for many, 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 many years. I
think it really says something when absolutely everybody she runs into and is shaking hands with at the plant has a big smile on their face when they meet her. Solicito indeed, I think. It really says something about her personality. That seems to be the standard reaction to her.
Really long for a connection between my instrument and myself, because we're working together to make this happen. And this is myself in a guitar. So I'm very grateful to PRS for giving me this opportunity and working together to create this beautiful guitar that you see right here. I love it. Now it's your turn to play it. Hopefully you guys will love it and know that I had you in mind when we were working on creating this guitar. If you are a fan of our music and you call me Solecito, this guitar is for you too. So I hope you have a lot of fun playing it. And if you don't know us and you're seeing this video and you get to play it, I hope you feel all the love that I have for music and for performing. And I hope that it inspires you to do you and just know that there's no limits to where your imagination can take you, even signature guitar.
Okay. Well, that was cool. I would really love to have one of these. I don't think that it's in the budget right now. Not this year, maybe next year. But, and I know there's only 200. But you can understand why they have the price tag that they do. I mean, these are handcrafted guitars, and involves a number of people to go through the whole process of making it to exacting standards, because you want them all to be top shelf quality. Anyway, beautiful guitar. I'm sure that it sounds wonderful. I mean, just from what we have heard, even just from the Pier 17 show. So if you're planning on buying one of these for yourself, why don't you let me know in the comments below. I would love for you to come back and tell me about it. Tell me how it plays. Tell me what you think about it. I have a feeling that over time it will probably gain value just based on the fact that the Warning Star is still rising. And, she could end up doing another one sometime in the future. That does happen on a pretty regular basis with other PRS artists. But why don't you give your thoughts on this? I think it was a very good introduction for people that were not familiar with the Warning and with Dany, just to kind of let them know what they're all about, what motivates them. And now it's just a matter of going out and buying the record, which, by the way, will be out in 2 days as I record this. So can't wait for that. So if you have anything else you want to add having to do with this video, if you've ever bought any PRS guitar because you saw Dany playing one, anything like that, why don't you give your own review on PRS in general, because all of the PRS guitars seem to be really sensational from what I've heard. I got to play one in the 90s. They've been around that long. And even back then, they were exceptional guitars. I imagine it's only gotten better with time. If you have any other thoughts you want to leave below, by all means do so. Okay, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed the presentation, please subscribe. All right, thanks so much for joining me today. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, folks.